Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to welcome all of our visitors here today and our witnesses. As a daughter of Selma and the ranking member on the Subcommittee on Elections, there's nothing more important to me than making sure that every eligible American has access to the ballot box. Our vote is our voice, and everyone's voice should be heard in elections. Voting is the most important way Americans participate in the political process, but far too often, illegal voter purging occurs, removing eligible voters from the rolls and preventing them from exercising their right to vote. A few months ago, or a few months before the November election, in my home state of Alabama, Secretary of State Wes Allen, who actually appeared before this committee a few months ago, directed the Alabama Board of Registrars to remove individuals from the voter rolls that were issued as, quote, non-citizen identification numbers, end quote, by the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary Allen shared a list of 3,251 voters with the Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall for potential prosecution. However, his office failed to implement the proper safeguards to ensure that eligible voters didn't fall through the cracks. As a result, Secretary Allen's purging initiatives removed more than 2,000 eligible Alabama voters illegally from the rolls. One of these legally registered voters was my constituent rolled, his name is Mr. Hazelhoff. He was a resident of Birmingham. He moved from the Netherlands to Alabama in 1988, and he gained his citizenship in a U.S. citizenship immigration naturalization process in Montgomery on July 18, 2022. In 2023, he obtained his STAR ID, which requires individuals, as we all know, to show up to show proof of citizenship. 84 days before the election, he received a letter from the Department of the Board of Registrars informing him that he was removed from the voter rolls. I'd like to submit his testimony, his story, into the record. May I? Unanimous consent to do so.
With no objection, so ordered.
So my constituent, Mr. Hazelhoff, who actually is an American nationalized citizen, was denied the opportunity to vote, and he had to prove, even though he had already submitted his STAR ID, that he was actually a citizen, and he showed that proof. But I know, like you, Ms. Helling, that so many people don't have the opportunity or the time or the patience to actually go to the Board of Registrars to prove, like you did, that you actually were illegally purged. So there are lots and lots of folks that go about doing that. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about how long it took you to actually get your name back on the rolls. And and the second part of that question is, are you assured that in future elections that you will actually not be on such an illegal purged roll?
Well, when I received that postcard, I scanned the QR code. It was very difficult to follow because you could only do it on your phone. And I spent well over an hour trying to find my name. There was no easy way. You couldn't pull up your name and look for it. You just had to look. And after all that time, I said, oh, heck, my husband and I registered together. This has to be a mistake.
Was your husband's roll, he was not purged from the roll, but you were, even though you all registered the same day?
Yes. Even though we registered at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it took that time, and then I kind of didn't worry about it until I saw another search engine, and all of a sudden there was my name. Whoa, what happened? So I had to think about it, and I thought, no, I've got to go fix this. Yeah. Which is a drive. The Board of Elections used to be right downtown. It's now further out of the city. So I did get there.
The point is that you took more than reasonable efforts to go about getting your name back on the rolls.
That's how I grew up.
And Madam Chair, I agree with you that election integrity is a bipartisan issue. I think no one benefits when people are illegally purged from the voter rolls. One must maintain a voter list, and every effort should be made to make sure that the people on that voter list are legitimately not supposed to be. And that therein lies the rub. So, Ms. Helling, could you talk a little bit about what you think your advice would be to us to make sure that there's a balance, that we have a proper balance between maintaining roles and making sure that we're not using it as a weapon to purge and to cause voter suppression?
And I understand the importance of voters being registered, but when we were registered and we gave all the information that was asked of us, and we provided that with our photo ID, with our current address, should we not be able to continue to vote? And why would we take 200,000 plus people?
And that's just in North Carolina.
Go through this.
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing her to complete her sentence. And I want to thank you for actually coming to our committee today to provide your own testimony, personal testimony, as to how so often these voter maintenance programs are used for voter suppression and actually do purge legitimate American citizens. Thank you so much.
Thank you.